Oh, that's a pity. I thought they were going to give me a bit of background music now, but they've gone. Well, what can I say except well done, Brassfield. You have put a song in my heart. I would like, first of all, actually, to thank a few people. Obviously, Tracy. I had a lovely conversation with her yesterday, and I just felt, wow, you know, she is carrying the torch. Oh, there's me up there. I thought I had Julia Huxley. Yeah, there she is. She is carrying the torch for Julia. I'm so impressed with this school. I'm really, really excited about it. So, Tracy, thank you. I'm sure I speak for all the parents here. Thank you, Tracy, for what you are doing for the school, because it is I'd also like to thank Polly. I don't know whether she's a talent spotter, but I went and did a small talk for her, and she runs this lovely magazine. She looks after you when you've gone. So keep in touch with Polly. She's good on the old girls. I did a very short speech, and then suddenly I'm put here. So anyway, I always say to myself, well, I was actually at Brassfield. I left in 1954. So I've been, in the script, I'm an old girl, but the truth is I'm a very, very old girl. But I always say to myself that when you get older, you can make mistakes, you don't have quite so long to live with them. Well, first of all, I want to say a few words, obviously, about Julia Huxley. What a woman. We owe this to her. In 1902, she borrowed £4,000. I have bit my fingernails saying, how can I go to a bank to borrow some money for my business? I'll say a little bit more about my business later, and I think there is a sort of little exhibition of what I did. But I retired over 20 years ago, but I've still got the fire, I think. Thanks to Brassfield, to be quite honest, I really feel they gave me that courage to stand up and make an utter fool of myself. So, but I did all right. So there was Julia, who amazing woman, and she borrowed £4,000 to start this school. That's an incredible thing to have done in 1902. Not only that, obviously she was married. She came from an educational background. So I always say to everybody that there's a gene in there. If you've come from that sort of background, there's a good chance that you've got something there which will hold you up in life, and you can develop and maybe become really good at it. I have got a gene. My forebears were pioneers. They went out to Australia. It was clogs to clogs in 3 generations. I always said to my dad, let's say we were convicts. It sounds more exciting, but actually we weren't. And they set up a small store in Melbourne. And my name is Horden. You probably might see my name somewhere in the school. I wasn't always very good. And so they set up a small store, which eventually became a very large store in Sydney. And, but it was clogs to clogs in 3 generations. And it actually does happen. You know, my business is really successful in its time, and then it had its time as things change. So you have to look sometimes in life to say, this is what I'm doing now, this is my time, and then things will move on. So well done, Julia. I love her. She's an amazing woman, and I feel that Tracy is carrying that torch. I felt so proud. You put a song in my heart, and I felt so proud that I was part of this school. It was just amazing. But the headmistress that I was under was Beatrice Burton Brown, and she was Ethel Burton Brown, who was a friend of Julia's daughter. And we were terrified of her. She used to go around and say, creature, come here. She was very clever. She wouldn't know who the hell we were. She would think, well, I can't get the name wrong, so creature will do. So the creatures came towards her. But actually, other than that, and I want to also thank my daughter who's brought me here today. She is a teacher, and I was at one of her classes. She teaches dance. And it's a very great skill to be a teacher, because I probably would have lost my temper a long way back. And they are so confident, so quiet, so good, and so caring, and yet they're firm. So well done, my daughter. She's a teacher, and it's lovely. But getting back to, we called her Bice. I don't know whether that's known, but whether, well, that's what we called her. We didn't do it to her face for obvious reason. But she was an amazing woman, and after Lucilla was learning, wanted to go to another school, and I heard that she'd retired, obviously, from Proudfield, and she was retired and living in Putney, and I didn't live far from there, so I rang her up and said, would you come round and give my daughter a little bit of tutoring? Oh yes, she said, of course I would. You know, she was quite a sort of big woman in the nicest possible way. She climbed all the way up the stairs to my daughter's little room where there were 2 little soldier chairs and sat down to teach her. And I said, well, are you sure you're all right on that little chair? She said, no, it's absolutely fine. And I thought, what an amazing woman that she was, such a person, and yet she was so real and so engaging at every level. And that's what I feel is in this school now. You're engaged, and I love the confidence. You're all so confident, and I just love it. So well done you. I'll tell you a story out of school, I think we might say, and I have to, well, why don't I tell you? Because I'm so old. You've never heard of Bloom's washing machines, have you? No. Well, Bloom, he invented a twin tub washing machine where you wash the clothes and then you put them in the tumble dryer, it was sort of thing. And I saw in a newspaper an advertisement for a demonstration. So what I did is I filled it in as Miss Burton Brown. I put Proudfield, I didn't put school. And then I watched from the dormitory, I don't know who's sleeping in there now, just by the door. I watched from there as this man turned up and opened up the back of the van and took out this washing machine. And then I saw Miss Burton Brown, come to the door and look, my goodness, what the heck's this? And obviously then he was sent away. So, Vice. Actually, if she said, yes, we'll have some of those, I would have gone downstairs and got to have commission, please, you know. This is what Proudfield teaches you, doesn't it? So, anyway. So he went away. So, Vice, yes, if you're here, I think they are. I really think they are. Vice, if you're here, I'm sorry, it was me. You never discovered who it was, but it was me. So, there we are. So, thank you, Vice, for everything you gave me. Thank you, Proudfield, what you gave me, absolutely fabulous. So what did I do with my life? I am retired now, but unfortunately my family, as it happens in life, isn't it like the weather? Sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it's not, sometimes it rains, and sometimes there's thunder. My family lost their family fortune, if you like, and my papa died when he was only 59. And I made a wrong decision in marrying the wrong person, but I always say in life, you know, I said yes and I could have said no, so I'm slightly responsible.
It's all coming out now, isn't it? Not a confession, Mum.
Taught me, and you know, at the time when you're here, you probably don't realise it, but when you get older, and very old, you suddenly look back on your life and you think, you know what, somebody gave me some really good grounding, and it was Proudfield. So I decided, well, I can't sit around crying. I don't do that. Proudfield doesn't do that, does it? No, absolutely doesn't. So we get up, we start doing, so I started my business actually in a cupboard. But what I noticed was there was a gap in the market between, I'm a bit of a natural with colour and interior design, but although my demonstration out there looks a bit old-fashioned now, but never mind, it's still there. And I suddenly saw this gap in the market from a high-powered interior designer, and I'm not really talking, you weren't even thought of then, but that's how it was, you have to believe me. The high-powered interior designer and the person that leant over the counter in the local store and said, well, take it home, dear, and see what your husband thinks. I thought, you know what, if only people could see fabrics and wallpapers, I know minimalism came in, and that really was the sort of where my business faded. You know what? If people could see it in the light from which it's intended, it would be so much easier. And so there's one old box there, but I colour catalogued, and I had lumps on my fingers. Yes, let's do it. So I cut up pattern books and I put them into these portable boxes. You can always tell a colour counselor, she looks a bit like this. She's been carrying boxes around. I put them into boxes. And I went into people's homes, and we could take the fabrics out and say, yes, that looks good, and that looks good, and we do this, that, and the other. And everyone was sort of relaxed, and you could see it in the light for which it was intended. It was a terribly simple solution, actually. And then somebody said to me, what are you doing? And I said, oh, I'm doing this. And it's doing quite well. Oh, she said, I could do that for you in Yorkshire. Well, to cut a long story short, I actually did hit a double market as well, because in those days, 1970, hey, you know, it's a long time ago. In 1970, wives didn't really go out to work because the probably say to the husband, oh, you can't afford to keep her, she's going to want to work. It's changed now, isn't that brilliant? I mean, when I saw what you girls can do, you know, it's that those days are past, but they were there then. And so I then gave these people a job, and actually it was self-financing, because I said, I'll give you these boxes, and so you'll have to give me the money for the boxes, and so it went on. And then eventually my own training school, I went international, I was in Holland, I was in Malaysia. I mean, wow, they were my children, really. I absolutely love them. In the early days, ICI came along and said they wanted to buy me. So we'd done all the due diligence, and we want to make you an offer. And I said, I'm not interested. I can see their faces now. I said, it'll either be a temptation or an insult. So I didn't take it up, and I kept going with my business. I absolutely loved it. So, so I really gave, I think it's a little bit of what our lovely Julia did. She said, I'm going to start a school for girls. She had 2 sons and obviously married to a man, 3 men in her family, and she did it. But very, very sadly, as you all know, she died in her 40s. But she left this legacy, and look how it's built. So never ever think that anything you put into life is lost. It's not, and even if very sadly you die young, we all leave legacies, and that is really, really exciting. So what have I got to say to you guys? I don't think I can say anything. I feel quite shy here because I'm absolutely bowled over by the talent, and oh, it's just lovely. I love it. We are all unique. Isn't that incredible? There's so many people in the world. All our fingerprints are different, all our voices are different, so we are actually unique. I always say we're like plants in the garden, and Leonard and Julia planted a lovely garden here. We are like plants in the garden. A daffodil can never be a tulip, so just be the best daffodil that you can be. The garden has weeds. The weather comes and messes it up, and then things grow, and it's all rather exciting. So I do feel that we are, each one of you in this room, a very important identity ingredient in this rather amazing world. So I would always say to people, don't compare yourself with others. Don't say, oh my goodness, she's so much better than me. How can I ever beat that? Forget it. Don't say, well, that's a bit of rubbish, that's not very good, I think I can do better. Forget it. You are you. So just be the best person you can be, believing in everything you do. And there will be ups and downs. Yes, there will be heartache. There will be all sorts of things. Just believe that what you do and do it to the best of your ability. And I hear that message coming through in the school. I love it. I absolutely love it. Now in this room we've got onto it, and I was handing out all those prizes, and I said, what they were all for. My goodness, when I was here, well, this wasn't here, of course, and I don't know, we certainly weren't doing rock bands and all that, and technology wasn't with us, of course. So it's great. But there are entrepreneurs here, there are scientists, there are artists, there are writers, and there are also mothers. And that's a job too. To be a mother and a wife is absolutely great. You are tomorrow's world. And I feel very confident you're going to crack it. So good luck and God bless.